Hey, did you know there's a lot more going on right now at our websites? Are you watching all 4 of them? If not, check them out. There's a list right here. We got 3 YouTube channels and 1 audio-only channel for your enjoyment. So come on and dig in and see all the stuff we do here at the North American Snow Queen Palace. Hello everybody, it's Lumi Furniture, and today we are going to talk about a couple different topics, including a couple questions that originally were asked by Jonathan Ung and was re-asked again by Sandi Patino. So you're going to actually Jonathan Ung, this is somewhat familiar to you. You've already originally asked these questions. Sandi Patino, this will probably be new to you unless you saw the original comments from Jonathan Ung's. What your ears say, kitty? And the question is how do I find out about my past life? Which is the first question. And the second question is, which is related to the first question is, how do I meet my spirit guide? You're going to need to know your spirit guide first, because your spirit guide is the liaison that is going to help you to achieve the former question. So the question is how do I meet my spirit guide? Because it's going to be the first thing you're going to need to know. Because your spirit guide has the ability to work with you as a go-between between your life here and your life on the other side. Now, you can do it yourself, but if you use your spirit guide, it goes a lot easier. Well, the first thing you're going to want to know is, number 1, how do you find out your spirit guide? Your spirit guide has been with you since you were born. So, obviously, it's always that little voice that in the background. You may sense it in the form of hearing it. You may sense it in the form of feeling. They use whatever tools that they need to that best works with you. In my case, it's a voice that me and Michelle hear. I was Michelle's spirit guide originally, so I know how Michelle works, at least in that area. So for Michelle, it's always audible. Okay, it's in a sense she senses it as an audible. The first thing you gotta do is you gotta spend some time alone, in quiet contemplation. And if you're Christian, yes, you are allowed to use prayer, of course. Prayer is a means of reaching through the veil to the other side. So prayer works for you. That's the first thing you want to use. Is pray to Mother or Father God, whoever you're used to praying to. If you're used to praying to Jesus, pray to Jesus. He can certainly pass the information on as needed. If you pray to Yahweh directly or Mother Asana directly, that works too. The second thing you gotta do is you gotta be open to the answer, because sometimes the answers it's kind of like the old expression, the truth is stranger than fiction. We're so used to thinking along the lines of within the box here in the physical world. We are so used to saying it's okay. Well, the world around us is as it is in this way, and that's the way it is. It doesn't always work out that way, but the truth is your spirit guide has always been there as an asset, and is always there offering you consultation, and often consolation. There's a difference between consulting and consoling. Well, here's where the consulting comes in. If you sometimes have to ask questions and you can't be sure of the answer, you can ask Mother or your spirit guide and say, hey, is this, whatever the question may be, is this decision the right one for me? For example, should I do I gotta come up with examples of it, because me and Michelle were talking about this earlier. Might as well use it. If I'm going to buy a violin this month, or should I buy the eye drops I need for my eyes? If I buy the eye drops, then I can't buy the violin. If I buy the violin, I can't buy the eye drops. What should I buy? And sometimes your spirit guide is going to give you an answer. They can't force you to take that answer, but they'll offer it to you. It's up to you, because remember, you have free will. You can choose to say, I'm not playing that game, or, okay, fine, we'll do it your way. The fact is, the spirit guide is going to give you the information they need. They can also research for you on the other side through the Akasha records. They can go in there and they can dig. They can look up your past lives in the scrolls. They can observe where you're going in your life chart. Your spirit guide knows your life chart. You don't. Okay, because the reason that is because if you knew what you originally agreed on for a life chart, it would be kind of like, well, there are a couple problems with that. If you know your life chart already, number one, what are you going to learn? You already learned it because you already know what it's about. And also it creates frustration, because what happens if things don't work out the way you wanted them to in your life chart? And all of a sudden you get all upset, oh man, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't working. And that's why we are often encouraged, that the life chart is close to us. We may have clues of it, but we may not know anything about it. There's also something called residual karma. I'm not going to go into all this right now, but let's just say, since you asked me how you get to know your spirit guide, that's what we're going to ask for. Because your spirit guide is the first thing you're going to need to know. Right? So, as I said, spirit guides are with you all your life. Yet you know that. You probably even have a name for your spirit guide. Michelle didn't really have a name for me. She just called me Patience, because I seem to always encourage Michelle to be patient. That was her spirit guide. Prior to us joining together in actually officially on May 1st, 2011. Although we were together before that, in and out of each other's lives, because when I was officiating her teaching as a North American Snow Queen, because I was the European Snow Queen from the year 1835 to 1910. Actually 1870 to 1910. I'm sorry, I was 35 years old, not born as a Snow Queen. So the first thing you got to do is ask your spirit guide. You know who they are. They're always a little voice you may hear. They may have the same gender as you. They may have a different gender than you. Maybe you're not sure what the gender is. But the most important thing is you actually chose your spirit guide before you were born here. So it's somebody you knew already from the other side, instinctually and deeply. The next question you have to ask the person, once you acknowledge your existence and who they are is, and give them a name that they may or may not like. Technically, they don't really have a choice, but, well, if you want to make them happy, they're there to serve. But if you want to make them happier, ask them, what kind of name would you want? If you want to know your spirit guide is something derogatory, that's fine. They can't really say much about it. They just have to kind of just say fine. Do you want to call me a shithead? That's great. Okay, I guess I'm your shithead. Of course, we know, as I said, Michelle originally called me Patience because she always realized I tried to encourage her to be patient. And once you establish that, then you can ask the questions, the tough ones. Okay, one, well, did I have a prior life than this one? And where did I come from? And what did I do? What did I look like? What was my name? When was I born? When did I die? don't expect that your spirit guide is going to grab a big giant folder of documents and flush it in your lap and say, there you go, here's everything you need. Start reading. First of all, that's pretty rare. They don't do that usually because they're just overwhelming. You're talking about wanting to know everything about a past life, and it's going to they'd rather give it to you little spoonfuls. Because they realize that it's just something you're going to have to chew on and get comfortable with. Because once you realize that you've been here before, it's not something a lot of people want to deal with. Because it's just too much to take. Because in some religious groups, we are told, you're here for one life, and that's it. Once you have passed the test, once you have been born, lived, and died, it's over. You don't come back ever again, which is not true. You do come back as often as you want. When you are home on the other side, you choose to be here. You choose to go through the University of Life. We call it, Michelle calls it Earth University. You choose to go for your graduate studies. You choose to do this because it's the hardest course, but it's the most enriching. Okay? So, you might start by finding your case. Your spirit guide might give you your name, and they may do this in the form of visions and dreams. In other words, don't expect them to, like I said, ring a doorbell and have a carrier say, I got a package for lumi02122015Past from the other side from Mother Asna. Please sign here. What is it? It's all the information you asked for, ma'am. How many boxes is that? I don't know, ma'am. I got more in the truck. What? I got a whole truck full. You can't go through that. That's just too much. So, obviously, your spirit guide is going to give it to you in a dosage you can handle. So, if you are a bookworm, you might be given huge amounts of it. If you are not too much keen into study and deep thought, you might get just little dribs and drabs here and there as you go. It's okay. Unless it's something that's so important, you must know it for a critical reason. I don't know. I can't come with too many examples. Maybe for some reason, maybe there's something in your past life that you need to know for this life. Then your spirit guide is going to make sure the most important pieces of your puzzle are going to be presented to you first. And then all the other details will be presented in an order that is felt to be appropriate. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say, for example, you are working on some kind of application. Say, for example, cooking, or maybe doing laundry with hand. Why not? Michelle does laundry with hand all the time. How did Michelle know how to do that? Because she did it in her prior life. So when she basically sits in front of a wash tub, a washboard, and a wringer, she doesn't freak out when she starts grabbing the laundry and starts scrubbing the jeans. She knows what to do. She's been through it before. So it's already part of her psyche that is already passed down. It's knowledge from the past that she has instinctually been given. Some other thing is you and your spirit guide really need to be open to communicate with each other. So many people don't want to talk to a spirit guide. And part of the reason it has to do with the issue of mental illness. You see, under DSM, earlier DSMs especially, they always said if you hear voices, you're schizophrenic. If you see spirits, you're schizophrenic. If you feel that there's a voice in your head that is encouraging you to do certain things, that means you're schizophrenic. First of all, let's deal with the voices business, because obviously if you're going to be communicating with your spirit guide, you are going to have to answer this question. Number one, a spirit guide will not, and an honest spirit guide, a true spirit guide, will never, ever encourage you to hurt yourself or to hurt other people. If your spirit guide is suggesting you do harm to yourself or harm to others, that is not your spirit guide. Do not abide by it. If your spirit guide is encouraging you to help others and to be a good example and to be a guide, that is more than likely your spirit guide, because negative entities are not going to want you to do that. Again, this is where you yourself also have to choose what you're going to do. Everybody's different. Some of you will accept the spirit guide with open arms, and some will say, I don't want to have a spirit guide. I don't want to deal with a spirit guide. I want to be a free agent. I want to do things my way or the highway. And if that's what you want, that's fine. Spirit guide will not force it. Do not think that your spirit guide is going to tell you, okay, but you'll be sorry. They don't do that, okay? They will just say, fine, okay? You want to be by yourself? We'll let you be by yourself. That's your job. That's your right. Then, actually, quietly, they were always sitting there on the sidelines. They're waiting for that call. The call coming from you when you're right into hard times. It's just like the song by the Beatles, Help. Whenever you have a hard time, you can always call them and say, hey, you know what? I may have made a mistake. I'm going to need your help after all, because I don't know what to go here. And they will be there with open, loving arms, and they'll say, fine, I love you, and I'm going to help you as best I can. But as I said, one of the things that has happened with a lot of mental illness is a lot of people have misunderstood the meaning of spirit guide versus demonic entities. Thinking that spirit guides and demonic entities are the same thing, which is a negative psychosis. Please do not think that. If you have been taught that, then this is going to be extremely hard to keep an open mind. If you have been taught that, and you say, like Michelle and I have, that's not correct, then we are willing to look at the reality and look at the greater cosmic events of all life around us, then we are going to go ahead. But if you are so strapped in or so fearful, it's really what psychosis is. It's a fear. It's a fear of the unknown. It's a fear of being be teased. It's a fear of being made a fool. It's a fear of being afraid to be who you are. So the minute you and your spirit guide work together and you feel comfortable with that person enough that you can say to yourself, I don't give a flying fart what people think about my spirit guide. This person is here to help me to learn of who I am and what I am to be and how I am to excel at my program. Then you are on your way to making the first of many revelations of who your past is. Now, but make sure we understand one thing, please. Your spirit guide may not give you every piece of information that you will want at that time, because possibly there are things that you need to learn on your own, or perhaps a piece of that past is too painful and they don't think you're ready to handle it at that moment. They're not out there to deceive you. They are out there to guide you and help you to grow. But if you are willing to take that chance and say the spirit guide, because after all, you guys have to be like working together and preferably almost like friends. Okay? You know, if they say to you, I'm sorry, but the information you're asking for is just not appropriate for this moment. Don't get mad, but you can simply say nicely is okay. So then what should I do now? Whatever it is I need to do. If that piece of information that is not being released to me has something to do with something I'm needing to learn now, maybe it's mastering something that I didn't master last time, which is something that has to do, again, what we call residual karma. I'm only going to talk about this briefly, so please listen. If there were things in your past life that you did not master and could not master, you will carry that into this life. For example, if you never mastered the ability to control your weight, or you never mastered the ability to control your temper, those two things will be residual karmic lessons that you have to master in this life. Because it's a continuing education. But what's hard for a lot of people is they say, why don't I remember these things from the last time? Well, you do instinctually in your karma. And the problem is the reason why you don't remember these things every time you come back here is because you have to learn who you are. Every life is different. Okay? And the second reason is because every life is different, Mother and Asana blank your mind because it shrinks to fit the body that you're going to be born into. So if you really know how big and how vast and how completely complicated your abilities are when you're on the other side, there's just too much. So they give you just a little bit so you can learn those skills. And then you grow on them, and you build on them. There's no buddy in the world that is going to be able to answer every question. Let me just wrap this up real quick here, because it is getting kind of long. First up, get to know your spirit guide. Be comfortable with them. Be comfortable communicating with them in whichever form that your spirit guide chooses to use. They communicate in the ways that is appropriate for you. So if you're comfortable with a voice in your head giving suggestions, that's great. If they're just going to give you vibes, that's great too. Some just give you visions, some give vibes, some all of a sudden out of the blue information is just presented to you if it doesn't make any sense. Okay? That's the spirit guides are. Second of all, spirit guides will never ever encourage you to do anything that will cause harm to you or to others. If they do, that is not your spirit guide. Do not work with them. Run away spiritually from them. Do not work with them. Pray for Mother and Father God for guidance. Always, especially if the person that has contacted you says that you're a spirit guide or asking you to do harm, do not work with that person. Number 3. Your spirit guide has been with you since you were born. They know you instinctually, inside and out. They have all of your background from your past of this life. They also know about your present of this life. And yes, they know your future too. In fact, because they have access to your full life chart, they know everything about you. But they are not permitted to tell you any more than you need to know at this point. It's like playing a video game. They know how the game plays, they know how to play the game, but they actually are not encouraged or even allowed to give you answers to how to get the final gold piece or that trophy. That's something you have to learn. Okay? Number 4, the spirit guide will not try to force anything upon you. So, in other words, if you decide to tell the spirit guide you don't want their help, they will quietly stand aside and do nothing. Number 5, regarding to number 4, a spirit guide will always be there to give you a hand. So, even if you told them originally to buzz off and you want their help now, they're there to give it to you, and they will always be there to serve you faithfully. Number 6, your spirit guide can bilocate, and if you're working with Mother Asana, she can trilocate. She can go 3, 4, 5 places at once, and which means that she works with me and Michelle as spirit guides, and that has been an asset because we have the option to talk direct to Mother Guide. Number 6, I want to talk about life charts real quick. Your life chart can be amended by Mother and Father God as needed. So if there's something in your life chart that is decided that is not appropriate or is not going to work out for you in this life chart, because we choose, sometimes we choose, especially first timers choose all the time. They choose life charts that are just too damn complicated, and then they can't make it happen. So Mother God and Father God might decide to amend it to take into account that, especially with first timers, is you chose too much, you can't make this happen. But you know, it's up to you. But we're gonna try to make it something you can do. Your life chart is always attempted to be made in something that you can do within a reasonable period of time. And of course, if you have any comments, concerns, gripes, suggestions, whatever, if you want to contact me and Michelle, you can do so by a variety of means. In my case, this is my channel. I'll tell you my ways first. If you want to email me, it's LUMIFINISTRA. If you want to send me a Google Plus, it's plus LUMIFINISTRA. You can also comment me in the comment section below this video or any video on this page. Okay. You can also please do listen to our yourlisting.com page. We do have me and Michelle have a shared page where we do Your Listen audio streams as well. So if you are not into the TV but really more into listen, you can listen there. Of course, they're not necessarily going to be the same videos as the YouTubes. They are different. Sometimes they are videos, some that have just the audio tracks, and that they're completely separate entities. But here's how you can find that. It's http://www.yourlisten.com/BICHELA, and that is where you can find our Your Listen audio streams. They are free, just like YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel, and you always will be kept abreast of any new postings. And me and Michelle have been doing a lot of them in the last few days at the Soup Kitchen, so because it's a lot easier to get the video audios up, and we don't have to worry about the copyright content ID system, which is very important because the Soup Kitchen's been playing the music in the background, and otherwise we would be afraid that we would find constantly our audio streams being blocked because of copyright content ID, which is not obviously the case right now. And that's it. Okay? Oh yes, I didn't tell you Michelle's information, but if you need to reach Michelle for whatever reason, it is easy. Email BICHELA3@gmail.com. Google Plus is plus MICHELE space MARIE space DS and dog ALENE. And of course, she has her own page here on YouTube. It's http://www.youtube.com/BICHELA4, and you can check it out there, and there find out all the new stuff that is on her page and my page. There are different pages, so just check them out. Okay, guys, that's all for now, and don't forget to like or dislike, share with your friends and enemies. Always do that, because your enemies may enjoy these videos. Comment, like I said below. Subscribe. It's as easy, it's free. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.